Stop your car. Stop. Stop.
Tonight at 9, a wild ride. A Maryland woman driving through a crowd, evading police orders to find another route. Closer look at the shocking scene. Violent night, 3 women shot in one shooting in the district. Just a string of concerning details unfolding overnight. We'll tell you more. Calls for ceasefire. The new pope, he wants peace, as do locals on the doorstep of the Russian embassy in their latest call to action. A report from the field.
And after a nice weekend, we're in store for a wet week. We'll talk about just how wet it'll get around here and the timing of that rain coming up.
And we're stretching your dollar. Social Security benefits expanding. The consumer tips and tricks to ensure you're getting the money that you're owed.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Stop your car. Stop. Stop. There's a lady running down the street on a BMW. Stop.
Shocking moments in Laurel, Maryland yesterday. A woman driving through a crowd gathered for a festival. People, including children, hurrying to get out of the way to avoid being hit. Good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. Laurel police shared this body camera video after this wild ordeal just yesterday. They say the woman drove up to a barrier where police tape blocked drivers from getting on the road where families were gathering for that festival. She told an officer that she needed to get to work, use that road. The officer offered a taxi, but also added she couldn't get through. She then got out of the car, ripped apart the police tape, and drove onto the street surrounded by people, the officer repeatedly telling her to stop.
We're at 6 now. Stop. Stop. Get out of the car.
Police say 28-year-old Kai DeBerry Bostic of Laurel was charged and taken to jail. No word exactly what charges she's facing, and thankfully, nobody reportedly hurt. New details tonight. DC police say that 3 women were shot around midnight. That's when they say they showed up to the hospital on their own, hurt, expected to be okay. Investigators believe shots were fired near East Capitol Street and Banning Road. And around the same time, police called to Columbia Road near the Columbia Heights Metro Station. It's there they say they found a man shot inside of the home after gunshots rang out in an alley nearby. He's being treated for serious injuries, and new 21-year-old Kyle Kearney of Southeast was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. Much more local headlines in just a few moments, but right now, got meteorologist Scott Sumner standing by with your end of Mother's Day forecast. Scott.
Yeah, we sum up the weekend as pretty nice, right? Would you say? And today was nice for Mom. Hey, it was really nice because it got up to 80 today. I did say it was going to get up to about 81 degrees, a little off that. The average 75, and the record today 94, set back in 1896. All right, we're down from that 80 degrees, 10 degrees down to 70. Currently, mostly cloudy skies are being seen across the DMV. And as far as temperatures overnight, they'll drop down to about 59 degrees. Start to turn the corner. Won't be quite as warm tomorrow. We'll have more clouds in play than we had today. We'll also have some rain starting to form in parts of the viewing area, but still around the middle 70s or a few upper 70s will just about do it for tomorrow, so dress appropriately for that. But it's going to be dry overnight tonight. Showers arrive on Monday, but the big rain comes in on Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah, brace yourself for that middle of the week, and then some dry hours kicking in on Thursday. It's not going to be a complete washout every single day this week, but right now, Tuesday and Wednesday are the prime days for the heaviest rain to fall. We'll talk about how much rain could potentially be in your backyard for some of us. That's all coming up in just a bit. Ben?
Good, Scott. Thanks. Tonight, reports of a possible 30-day ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. There's no word from Russian leaders whether they will agree to the proposed short-term ceasefire that could start tomorrow. Our Dave Laval reports near the Russian embassy in Northwest D.C. as people are once again pushing for an end to conflict.
Volunteers are planting a garden in this vacant lot across the street from the Russian embassy. But it's not just to improve its looks. Nadia Shaparinska plants the seeds for what she hopes will help lead to the end of the fighting in her native Ukraine.
Ukraine will win.
Shaparinska and others plant sunflowers, Ukraine's national flower, and has become a symbol of that nation's fight for freedom.
dig a little bit.
Goes this way, back and forth.
Okay. I love it.
This tradition started in April 2022, 2 months after Russia launched its attack on its neighbor.
We are very, very happy about it. We are so happy to see so many people who support Ukraine.
Lindsay McGrath has taken part in every one of these ceremonies.
I believe it's an unjust war. I believe that the Ukrainian people have a right to defend themselves in their homeland.
The garden is located in Boris Nemtsov Plaza, named for a Russian physicist and critic of Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Assassins killed Nemtsov in 2015. The planting comes just a day before a proposed 30-day ceasefire could take effect. Leaders from the European Union called for it after they met with Ukraine's president Saturday.
It would be good. It would be good for both sides.
Vandals destroyed the previous gardens, but organizers will install security cameras to catch anyone that tries to do it this year. In Northwest, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Dave. An update tonight, President Trump and Hamas both say the last living American hostage in Gaza will be released. Eden Alexander's release is part of the truce effort to establish a ceasefire and reopen crossings into Gaza, blockaded by Israel, and resume deliveries there. According to the Associated Press, 2 Hamas officials say they expect the release to be in the next 48 hours. All right, back here at home, and soon, former Fox News host and prosecutor Janine Piro will be on the job as D.C.'s U.S. attorney, at least for now, after the interim appointment by President Trump. He recently abandoned his first nomination, Ed Martin, after losing a key Republican backing in the Senate to be confirmed. Piro is the latest in a string of Trump nominations from Fox News. Don't forget about Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary. This has some leaders in D.C. raising concerns. Marielle Carbone tells us what caused the change in course.
Well, Ed Martin's nomination certainly faced some pushback, not just from local community members, but from members of Congress as well. You'll remember he was involved in the Stop the Steal campaign after the 2020 election. But this latest appointment, Judge Janine Piro, is also expected to face some criticism as well.
People here east of the river that want the same thing that Americans want everywhere. They want safety too.
Which is what Lamont Mitchell wants the latest pick for D.C. U.S. Attorney, Fox News personality Janine Piro, to understand.
Being a TV analyst and being the top prosecutor of a city is 2 totally different jobs.
Mitchell is chair of the Anacostia Coordinating Council. The group was the first to hold a public forum with Ed Martin, Trump's original pick for D.C.'s top prosecutor. That meeting heated.
There was a lot of pushback on him.
Well, it's disappointing because, I know Eddie's very talented.
President Donald Trump pulling Martin's nomination this week after Republican Senator Tom Tillis said he wouldn't support Martin for the permanent job because he defended January 6 rioters. Thursday, Trump announcing Janine Piro as the new interim D.C. U.S. Attorney on Truth Social.
I think her background does help.
Alex Gangiatano is with The Hill and says Republicans may see Piro as less controversial than Martin.
Because of his actions in the post-2020 election that a lot of Republicans want to distance themselves from. So I think they might see that Ed Martin getting pulled as a win.
Piro served as both a judge and district attorney in Westchester County, New York, before joining Fox News in 2006.
Whether you like Janine or not, she is certainly more qualified, and she has held a DA's job before.
And Piro has been a loyal Trump supporter. It is important to note that she was named in a 2021 libel lawsuit along with Fox News by a voting technology company. They are accused of making false statements about the 2020 election. Reporting in downtown, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Thanks to Marielle. A spokesperson for Fox News saying in part, Janine Piro has been a wonderful addition to The Five over the last 3 years. That's the talk show she was on, and longtime beloved host across Fox News Media. We wish her all the best in her new role in Washington. All right, in your local election headquarters, a congressional race in Virginia to replace a Democratic representative is widening. Jerry Connolly announced last week that he's not running for re-election after his cancer return. State Senator Stella Pekarsky now plans to run. In a campaign video, the former teacher says she refuses to stay silent against the Republican-led federal government. There's also 2 more candidates who've entered this race. They are Mike Van Meter, a Republican who ran against Connolly last year. It's Connolly there. And James Wilkinshaw, who previously served as Connolly's chief of staff. Connolly has held that seat since 2009. Of course, happy Mother's Day, moms. This week, there was a special celebration where some moms got the royal treatment in Maryland. And inside a Prince George's County ballroom, they were treated to free hairstyling, manis, pedis, massages, some outfits, and some lunch. All part of an annual Mother's Day celebration for moms who are experiencing homelessness or other hardships. The nonprofit Anew puts on this luncheon saying all the women in the room deserve a day of pampering.
It means a lot. It means a lot. Just to be able to relax, to kind of sit here, to have somebody pamper me like I did my daughter all her life is really wonderful.
It's important to me because it could have been me. Simply because of that. And we want to be a demonstration of God's love in the earth, serving those that are impacted by homelessness.
Love what they're doing there. Anew will host a similar event for Father's Day. That's June 12th at the Fort Washington Art Gallery. All right, Lego is expanding its footprint in the DMV. In Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin announced the Toy Brick Company is building a new warehouse. Where? In Prince George County. The $366 million investment will create 300 new jobs. Operating alongside the factory currently being built in Chesterfield County, that's near Richmond. It's on track to open in 2027. Plenty of bright, bubbly colors at the Bethesda Arts Festival this weekend, featuring fine art by some of the nation's best artists, 120 of them. There's live music featuring Bethesda restaurants there as well, a free event allowing artists to also sell their original fine arts and crafts. Plenty of fun to be had. Coming up, stretching your dollar as Social Security benefits expand. Some tips and tricks to ensure you're getting the money you're owed. Stick around.